Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I am recording 5070/22 October November 2019 part 3. If you haven't checked out my part 1 and part 2, I'll mention the links in the description below and you can check it out. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. I'll solve question number 1 and 2 as well as question number 3 in part 1 and 2. Now I'm going to solve question number 4. Question number 4 says, the equation shows the reaction of calcium carbonate with hydrochloric acid. CaCO3, that is calcium carbonate plus hydrochloric acid, produces calcium chloride, carbon dioxide and water. The rate of the reaction can be determined by measuring the decrease in the mass of the reaction mixture. Describe one other method of following the progress of this reaction. One other method or an alternative method for it can be, as you've all done, will be doing practicals or alternative to practicals. So it's similar to that, as well as we study this in paper 2 as well, that we use a syringe or something to measure the volume of the gas at various different time intervals. In this way, we can make a fair test and a reaction and can determine about how fast the reaction is going on. Part B. Describe and explain using ideas about collisions between particles, how the rate of reaction changes when the same mass of calcium carbonate is used in smaller pieces. All the other conditions are same. Now in this question, they are saying that all the other conditions are same. That's one of the most important things. That means you cannot add up all the kind of effects that can take place due to different changes. You just need to make sure you stick to the surface area fact. You just stay to the fact that pieces have become smaller in size and the surface area has increased. Of course, when surface area increases, how the rate of reaction changes? How will it change? It will, of course, increase. The rate of reaction will increase. And there will be greater number of particles that will be exposed to the reaction, to the chemicals. And in this way, the reaction will be faster. And because we need to add collisions, ideas about collision, so we are simply going to write that collision will increase per second. In this way, the reaction will be faster. It's a 2-mark question. Write all of these points and you will easily gain 2 marks. Part C. Describe and explain using the ideas about collision between particles, how the rate of reaction changes when the temperature is increased. Earlier we had to write related to surface area, and this time we are supposed to write related to the temperature. Now about temperature, if we increase the temperature, that means kinetic energy will increase. If kinetic energy will increase, that means that there will be greater collision per second, due to which the rate of reaction will increase. Assemble the answer, write it in proper format that how things have been linked together, and you will get all marks. Moving on to part D. Calculate the minimum mass of calcium carbonate in grams needed to produce 16.8 cm³ of carbon dioxide at room temperature and pressure. Give your answer to 3 significant figures. Now in part D, first of all, we are going to find the moles of carbon dioxide. And to find the moles of carbon dioxide, we are going to divide the volume by 24,000. Because this is a centimeter cube, we are going to divide it by 24,000. If it would be in dm cube, we are going to divide it with 24 only. But because it is cm cube, so we will do it with 24,000. If we divide it with 24,000, the answer would be around 0.0007. That is 7 into 10 to the power minus 4. Alright, and then we are going to multiply it with 100. Because the MR of CaCO3 is 100. So we are going to multiply it by 100 to find the mass. as the formula is moles into mR. We are going to use that formula and going to get the answer. This is a really easy question. Part E, describe a test for carbon dioxide. Test for carbon dioxide is, okay, here we are talking about test and observation. Make sure about test you only write what we're supposed to use or what we're supposed to do. And an observation is what is the result. That is what observation means here. So test is bring bring carbon dioxide gas close to lime water, or you can write use lime water test, and the observation will be it will turn milky. Part F, calcium hydroxide can be used to control the pH of the soil. Explain how calcium hydroxide controls the pH of the soil. Now calcium hydroxide, because it is an alkali, and if soil is acidic, so it can help in neutralizing the soil, or it can help in increasing the pH. In this way, it will manage the pH of the soil. It's just 2 marks, and yeah, that's it. Total 13 marks. It's an easy question once again. However, all of these are filled with facts that you have to learn and understand. Basically, it's filled up with basic general concepts that we're supposed to apply over here. Now, moving on to question number 5. The table shows some properties of group 1 elements. Complete the table by estimating the melting point of sodium and the atomic radius of rubidium. Okay, so here we see there is relative thermal conductivity and atomic radius. Now if we talk about melting point, so over here we see a trend. That means it's first 181, then it's 63 and 39. That means the melting point of sodium is going to be somewhere in between 181 to 63. Now a quick tip for this is that do not make it 180 or do not make it 64. Give a very decent distance from both of these values. That means if the value is 63 over here, make it something above 70 to 80, like make it above 80. And if you're talking about lithium, make it at least below 170 at least. So then it will be around, you can write any value in between, just we are supposed to estimate as the question says. So the answer for it can be either 72 or 75 or 100 or 110, anything you wish. It's not important to be accurate because here we are talking about estimation. And we can easily deduce estimation through the values above and below if they follow a trend. Secondly, the atomic radius of rubidium, the atomic radius would be something 0.157, 0.191, 0.235. As we can see, it is increasing. So make it something like above 0.24 or 0.25. Make it above 0.25 or make it 0.25. Not too close to 0.235 and not too far, because not a lot of difference, because we are talking about the very next element. If we talk about group wise, we're talking about the very next element, so it cannot be extremely huge, neither can it be very, very close, because it's a separate element and has a different atomic radius. Moving on to part 2, use the information in table to suggest why is it difficult to predict the relative thermal conductivity of potassium. Okay, so here we did it easily as well as over here. But here the difference is, first it's 84, then 142, and then 58. That means they are not following a proper trend unlike this. Over here we saw as we go down the group it is increasing. Over here as we go down the group it is decreasing. But over here it's all random. So simply we are going to write that it does not follow any trend. Part B. Sodium reacts with oxygen to produce sodium oxide. Construct the equation for this reaction. So we are supposed to construct an equation for Na plus O2 is equals to 2Na2O. These kinds, first of all, you can simply do it Na plus O2, why O2? Because oxygen is always diatomic, and then after balancing I got that it would be 4 Na and 2 Na2O, because we have to balance them on both the sides. And balancing, if you do not do balancing, you are supposed to get 0 marks, because this is 1 mark question and it requires a perfect equation. Part 2, what type of oxide, acidic or basic, is sodium oxide? Give a reason for your answer. Alright, so the type of oxide is, because it is sodium oxide and sodium belongs to group 1, so it is going to be a basic oxide. And why is it a basic oxide? Because it is from group 1 and group 1 is sodium, group 1 is metal. And metals always form oxides that are basic. That's a fact. Now part C, again this is a 1 mark, so you are supposed to write them correctly, both of them. Now moving on to part C. Explain in terms of ease of formation of ions why copper does not react with aqueous sodium sulfate. Copper does not react with sodium sulfate because in terms of ease of formation, we need to refer to the ease of formation of ions. This is important. It is simply because sodium ions are formed more easily than with copper ions. That means sodium can easily be formed into ions as compared to copper ions. That is how it is. It's just 1 mark. We do not need to give a huge explanation. Just this much. The copper does not form ions easily as compared to sodium. Moving on to part D. Hydrated sodium iodate 5 has a formula of NaIO3, and it is basically with water in aqueous form. It has a relative formula mass of 288. Calculate the value of X in this formula. These kind of questions are really common and also important because they contain around 2, sometimes even 3 marks. Well, so for this we are simply going to do a very brief kind of formula. We are going to use a very brief formula, and X is going to be, because we are talking about NaIO3, the molar mass of NaIO3 is 198. Alright, first of all, find the difference, that is NaIO3 is 198, and if we calculate, we are simply going to find X, that will be equals to 5. These kinds of methods, and this is related to moles, and if you want I can make a video on how to solve moles questions and in detail all of this, because it's a long topic with a lot of types of formulas in it and a bit of a complicated topic. Anyway, so that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any comments or if you have any requests, make sure to drop it in the comment box down below. I'll make sure to complete as many papers as I can before your October-November examinations. Also, all you need to do is tell me what papers do you want or what topics you want, and that's it. That's how it is going to be. Also, don't forget to share the video, like and subscribe to my channel. If you ring the bell icon, you will definitely get the videos, updates and notifications as soon as it is uploaded. Keep working hard and best of luck for your exam.